Still, something felt wrong. There was a tension in the air, as if the hill itself were holding its breath, waiting for something bad to happen. We walked down into the valley and found the summer session in full swing. Most of the campers had arrived last Friday, so I already felt out of it. The satires were playing their pipes in strawberry fields, making the plants grow with woodland magic. Campers were having flying horseback lessons, swooping over the woods on their Pegasus. Smoke rose from the forges, and hammers rang as kids made their own weapons for arts and crafts. The Athena and Demeter teams were having a chariot race around the track, and in Canoe Lake, some kids in the Greek tree were fighting a large orange sea serpent. A typical day at camp. "I need to talk to Clarice," Annabeth said. I stared at her as if she just said I need to swallow a huge smelly boot. "What for?" Clarice from the Ares cabin was one of my least favorite people. She was a mean, ungrateful bully. Her dad, the war god, wanted to kill me. She tried to beat me to a pulp on a regular basis. Other than that, she was just great. "We've been working on something," Annabeth said. "I'll see you later." "Working on what?" Annabeth glanced toward the forest. "I'll tell Chiron you're here," she said. "He'll want to talk to you before the hearing." "What hearing?" But she jogged down the path towards the archery field without looking back. "Yeah," I muttered. "Great talking with you, too." As I made my way through camp, I said hi to some of my friends. In the big house's driveway, Connor and Travis Stoll from the Hermes cabin were hot wiring the camp's SUV. Selena Beauregard, the head counselor for Aphrodite, waved at me from her Pegasus as she flew past. I looked for Grover, but I didn't see him. Finally, I wandered into the sword arena, where I usually go when I'm in a bad mood. Practicing always calms me down. Maybe that's because swordplay is the one thing I can actually understand. I walked into the amphitheater and my heart almost stopped. In the middle of the arena floor, with its back to me, was the biggest hellhound I'd ever seen. I mean, I've seen some pretty big hellhounds. One the size of a rhino tried to kill me when I was 12. But this hellhound was bigger than a tank. I had no idea how it gotten past the camp's magical boundaries. It looked right at home, lying on its belly, growling contentedly as it chewed the head off a combat dummy. It hadn't noticed me yet, but if I made a sound, I knew it would sense me. There was no time to go get help. I pulled out Riptide and uncapped it. Yeah! I charged! I brought down the blade on the monster's enormous backside when from out of nowhere, another sword blocked my strike. Clang! The hellhound picked up its ears. Woof! I jumped back and instinctively struck at the swordman, a gray-haired man in Greek armor. He parried my attack with no problem. "Whoa there," he said. "Truce." Woof! The hellhound's bark shook the area. "That's a hellhound!" I shouted. "She's harmless," the old man said. "That's Miss O'Leary." I blinked. Miss O'Leary? At the sound of her name, the hellhound barked again. I realized she wasn't angry. She was excited. She nudged the soggy, badly chewed target dummy towards the swordsman. "Good girl," the man said. With his free hand, he grabbed the armored mannequin by the neck and heaved it towards the bleachers. "Get the Greek! Get the Greek!" Miss O'Leary bounded off after her prey and pounced on the dummy, flattening its armor. She began chewing on its helmet. The swordman smiled dryly. He was in his 50s, I guess, with short gray hair, clipped beard. I didn't need to read it.